You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello, my name is... Wait, what? Linda? Where's my coffee? Linda! Oh, oops, we don't have a Linda. Sorry about that. Big thank you to Eden9 for that amazing intro to this week's podcast. I can't believe you're the 9th ever Eden. I'm very honoured that you contacted me just to give me such an intro. Or maybe, hang on, maybe Eden9 is a space base somewhere, in which case I hope you're doing well out there despite the lack of atmosphere. Incidentally, though, if we don't have a Linda at Comedy Club for Kids HQ, who has brought me these 479 coffees that I have on my desk? And why are they all cold and some smell of yaks? Very curious. Hello, it's me, Tiernan, and welcome back to the completely Linda-free Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast that is suitable for everyone of all ages, except Linda. Well, I think except Linda, but as I said, I do have all of these coffees. Well, at least I think they're coffees. They're all in coffee mugs, but some definitely have small faces, a few are green, and one appears to be waving at me. Stop it. No, I'm not waving back. You're a coffee. Stop it. Luckily, I've already had 479 coffees this morning, so I don't need these ones, and I've also brought my own special thermos flask full of top-quality potato juice. So yes, I'm all set for this new season of the podcast after our little break. I didn't actually go away anywhere, I should just say. I mainly hid in a cupboard, and I kept telling Linda to tell everyone I wasn't in. Sadly, of course, there is no Linda, which must be why no one told anyone I wasn't in, and loads of people kept coming round telling me to get out of the cupboard. But I didn't, because it is very important to take a holiday. Although if Linda doesn't exist, who has bought me all of these coffees? Curiouser and curiouser. So, I'm very pleased that this show is back, and I've been getting all your lovely messages and reviews, so big hello to Georgia in Australia, hockey stick, ice skate, skateboard, football in America. That is a very unusual and interesting name, that one. I do wonder what that means. Buttwad, also a very lovely, beautiful name that you have there, Buttwad, and Rainbow Dash 3010, who sent a farting gorilla. Thank you, though I am trying to cut down on those, as too many are meant to be very bad for your health. And they also said that this podcast helps them to go to sleep. What? Is it that boring, is it, that it makes you go to sleep? Right, Rainbow Dash, I'm only going to play loads and loads of loud trumpets every single episode from now on to make sure you stay awake forever. Oh, wait, sorry, maybe you meant you find it quite calming. Oh, sorry, Rainbow Dash. I've had a lot of coffee, so I just can't imagine going to sleep now until the year 2057. Linda! No more coffees, Linda! And tell the postman to hold off on any more farting gorillas until I get through the current batch. Also, you might remember in the summer-winter holiday special we did in August that I asked you to send in your annoying noise if, like Matt from the Listies, you had one that you really liked doing and was definitely annoying. So, huge thanks to Melody, who sent in this.
Mom.
Wow, Melody, that is so annoying. Oh, I feel really annoyed. Well done. Wow, I'm so annoyed I might have to drink one of these coffees. Linda, less sugar and weird aliens in these coffees next time, please. Thanks, Linda. Phew, it really is all go here at Radio Nonsense, and we haven't even got to this week's guest yet. But before I do that, wowzers have I got a big stack of your questions that I've been getting comedians to answer. But should you have one that you are desperate to ask and you haven't sent in yet, then do get your nearest whiffy butt with legs, sorry, grown-up, to help you email us at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. And while we're getting to these questions in the order that they get sent in, which means if you've been waiting for hundreds of years, yours might very well be next, there is also going to be a special Halloween episode in a few weeks that I need special Halloween questions for. If you've ever wanted to ask if you're allowed to flick the bogeyman away or if you have to collect him in a tissue, or if everything goes bump in the night because it's the night and, well, no one can see anything, so of course you're going to bump into stuff, then get sending in your Halloween questions and they will get answered in just a few weeks' time in our Spooktacular special. Okay, it is now time for the important bit. Linda! It's time for the important bit, Linda! Where is she? More importantly, who is she? And why have the coffees now run off with my shoes? Right, welcome to Radio Nonsense. Vix, who is deadliest at doing very, very small kicks. Vix, champion of flicking sticks. Vix, the first ever person ever to point at a llama. And of course, as all the listeners know you, you are the inventor of the nose. So how are you doing?
I mean, that is true, actually. I don't like to talk about it, but if you are smelling stuff, if your face looks better in the mirror than you expect, that's me. I did that. I made the nose. Before that, just a hole.
You're very modest about
people's faces. I don't bring it up.
Weird.
You've made it weird. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I mean, it is quite a big... I mean, it's one of those things that I think we should all be a bit more grateful for, because as you say, we wouldn't be able to smell anything, which obviously there are situations like when your dad leaves the bathroom, you don't want to smell what's on it. That's obviously a bad thing, but most of the time is pretty handy to smell.
It was a prototype, to be honest. I wasn't finished with the nose. The idea was you could, switch the facility on and off. So like you said, if your dad's particularly abhorrent in the bathroom, you'd be able to just put the shutters down. Wouldn't have to know about it. But people went with my first design. That's the trouble.
Oh, that's a shame. Are you working on like sort of nose 2.0, or I don't know what stage our current nose is. So what are you working on, like an upgrade, or is there any of that sort of in development?
Well, yeah, I think it's a project I've got on, but with the tiny kick campaigns that I'm doing as well, it's hard to find time. A lot of people need a small kick in the shins, you see, Tiernan.
That's what I just wanted to ask was, who is it? Those, because they're such small kick, they're almost not a kick, they're almost sort of like a toe, like twitch, aren't they? But I wondered, who are you? Is it people who need a small kick in the shins? Is it ants? Are you trying to kick away? And have you got, who is your target base that you need very small kicks for?
People who are very boring in a conversation. I'll sometimes nudge them with a small kick under the table just to move them on a bit. I don't want to hurt them. It's not good to kick people.
We should just point out to listeners, don't kick people. But I should say that these are such small kicks that I think, were you to kick a sibling with such a small kick, I don't even think your grown-ups would know that it was a kick. I mean, in that way, I think it's quite useful.
In a really soft shoe. So if, your brother's describing a maths lesson they've been in, you're not really interested in, just a tiny kick under the table, just to move him on. Jog him on.
I mean, it's very impressive. I don't think I'm amazed it's not in the Olympics. I would like to see a sort of international small kick kind of championship where people see just how small their kicks could be.
It's an art. I think it's an art rather than a sport. I think that's why it's not in the Olympics. People don't know what to do with it. Is it a show? Is it a physical feat? We don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Do you know, someone told me a while ago that Olympics in like the original old school Olympics, like the OG Olympics, right back in the Greek days, they had like art in it. They had art and other stuff. It was like just a showcase of everything. And I wish now that they had like a speed painting competition, or like just get a whole load of people up, like who can make a head out of clay, and then they'd all have to do it super fast.
They're the ones I'd watch. I want to see amateurs doing that though. Like that was discussed in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like let real people have a go, almost like a base level. So you know what a normal person can achieve. And then when you see all the superhuman efforts, you appreciate them. Because when everybody can jump for 3 meters, you're like, meh, you see one, you see them all. Let me show you how it's done. If you're a normal human with normal capabilities, and then you can really appreciate it. You get paired with somebody, you get paired with a normo. They do their jump, you do yours, a bit like a mascot in a football match. And they can walk you on and you hold hands and you feel like you're enjoying the fuss and you don't deserve it. Like, I do that.
You would do that. See, because I think there's a little bit of me, like, I don't know how I'd feel if they're like, and welcome now to, the event, Tiernan, who's going to be purposefully rubbish at this. Like, just if you're just wheeling at people who, like, the crowd, like, you're terrible, yeah.
You can't be purposefully rubbish. You have to do your absolute best. It has to be the best you can do.
Yes, you're right.
And you'll always retain that little moment in the back of your mind where you're like, I could nail this. This could be my day. Because every time I do a sport, I think that. Every time I try a new sport, I usually buy all of the kit for it. So I'm sure there'll be kids listening that maybe have roller skates they tried once they didn't enjoy. I'm that girl, but I'm 37. And I've got all this kit. And I thought I'd be immediately good at darts, snooker, roller derby. Nah, none of it. But I expect to be immediately good at something. And then when I'm not, I get angry and I abandon it, which is not a very grown-up approach.
Yeah. I'm quite pleased, though, that it's sort of roller skating, because if, say, you're going for a high jump or a pole vault, I don't know where you'd keep that equipment if you weren't going to...
Out in the balcony.
I mean, there's not really anywhere to practice it. Yeah.
Next to my wrestling sandpit.
Wow. See, now you sold the sort of people doing Olympics badly to me if that's how they're going to practice.
I'd so watch it. But yeah, the beauty of it would be getting really competitive, quite smug people and putting them in their place. You think, well, you can recruit them from places like Twitter where people are going, well, this isn't so special. I could do this. You can recruit those people and teach them an important lesson.
Yeah, well, it was because there was lots of all those people that kind of, you think you're so good at gymnastics, that wasn't that great. And I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. I sometimes I can't get off the sofa without going, I can't get up today. So I don't know. Yeah, people were very confident. I'd quite like to see them all put through their paces. Definitely, it's a very good idea. Very good idea. Well, and how are you apart from your nose improving and small kick demonstrating? Because I understand you're a little bit snotty.
On the subject of noses, yes, I've woken up sneezy this morning,
Oh.
so I'm leaving not inadvertently leaving little pools of snot around the flat.
Like the most disgusting Hansel and Gretel ever. A little trail of snot so we can find our way home.
Clear. So I'll feel it happen and I'll think I've wiped it up, but I'm wrong. And then my husband will step in it. Little glistening, sparkly pool of snot. And he's not happy with that at all.
He should be. That's a little snot surprise. If you don't know it's there. It's like have you ever done, I'm going to be really gross now. Have you ever done like one of those, like you cough and you think, oh, that's fine. And then like hours later, you'll notice like on the wall is just like a phlegm that's flown out, but you didn't know it was there. And it's like a phlegm surprise.
It's funny you should mention that actually, because I was pondering what the worst word was. And I phlegm was right up there. So,
was it? Okay.
Yeah, that was going to be my word. And now you've said it. And
oh, have I ruined
You've ruined it. You've ruined it.
Oh no. Okay, that is awful. I mean, I wasn't. Okay, I mean, we'll
you
jump.
said the dirty word I didn't want to say.
Well, you see, well, okay. How about if I promise not to say phlegm? I won't say phlegm for the remainder of the show, or any. I won't even say phlegm once. I'll try not to say it once. And if you don't say phlegm once, then I'll make sure that we haven't said phlegm throughout this episode, and then hopefully none of the sort of kids listening will be upset by the word phlegm.
Over and over again. No, I feel.
What word can we use for phlegm if we can't say the word phlegm?
I don't know. Something that, because I don't know if people are familiar with the spelling. Even the spelling of phlegm is disgusting. It's got a G in it. Why? And also, it doesn't start with the letter F. It's really confusing as a word. It's not just a horrible sound. It's a confusing word. It's designed to trip you up. Because it's actually like pelegum, isn't it? If you're...
Pelegum!
Pelegum. Yeah, maybe we should say pelegum.
Spell. I like pelegum. Pelegum's... Do you know what? I wonder if it's because, like, phlegm is sort of like the noise you make when you... Whereas pelegum is magical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You denounced the Lord and Lady Pelegum at Fancy Ball, didn't you?
Welcome, Lord and Lady Pelegum. And then they'd arrive, leaving a small trail of snot. And then coughing
my calling
everywhere.
card. I am Lady Pelegum.
Oh, that's so disgusting.
It's horrible.
It is. I mean, so we're talking about, this is early October. Like, hasn't everyone got pelegum now? Everyone's got snot and pelegum. It's like the time of year, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
But we're all quite grateful for it because it's fine. It feels like the world's going back to normal. So I wasn't ill for a whole year, but that's because I wasn't touching any germs or being outside. So that's...
Yes, this is a good point. And now we can all mix with everyone and we can catch everything again and get all ill. My daughter had...
What a joy.
The other week,
Yay.
Well, my daughter goes to nursery, and at nursery what they do is, like, I don't know if listeners have younger brothers and sisters, but basically what you do is you send small kids to nursery to collect germs. That's what they do. They only go there to collect germs and they bring them home and they share them with everyone. And my daughter's just... different one every week. It's quite exciting. It's like sort of when you get like I don't know, like a Lego minifigure or something. You don't know what's inside. It's a different one every time. And the other week she had a vomiting bug and she caught it for exactly 12 hours. So for 12 hours, blah blah blah, and then suddenly I'm fine now. I'll eat some toast. And it's like it's very specific.
Yeah, 12 hours is quite a specific window of time to be being sick, and it's just enough to ruin everybody's week, isn't it? That's enough time. And enough. That's it. But I like how sort of
economical it is. You know, like if you think about, if you wanted to say ruin someone's day, like, and you were like, I've got exactly 12 hours to do it. Like that's it's quite effective. You know, I quite like the idea of colds being like, right, I'm a 4-hour cold. Yeah. And I'm just going to make your morning a bit rubbish and then I'm gone.
Yeah. Like, whereas feeling 10% more rubbish over 7 to 10 days, like I would choose to have it all in one go. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I think there's colds. If you're listening, sort it out. Get more kind of, have some targets, have some time targets.
Yeah,
I
come
think there's
on.
ways to do this.
Stop phoning
Yeah.
in, Colds. It's a half a
Yeah,
job.
they-
Half
do
a
you know
job.
what? I mean,
Am I
here's another
ill? Have I
thing.
got something up my nose? Is it just I don't know. Make yourself known. Be undeniable, Colds.
That's it.
Be better.
I mean, and also, I don't want, I don't want to. I'm worried that this could go the wrong way, but I do feel like colds have been doing the same thing for a long time now. We were talking about upgrading the nose, earlier. I think colds need an upgrade. I don't want it to become more dangerous, but I think
Bring
what if
something
instead
new.
of pelegum, you
Yeah,
coughed out a peanut or something,
Yeah. What about a really interesting rainbow rash that's not itchy, but just is a bit inconvenient? That you wake up
But
and
also,
you've got
if it was a rainbow
polka
rash,
dots on you, or
but you could really show that off, couldn't you? Be like, I've got rainbow. I mean, no one would come near you, but you can still look really glam with your rainbow rash.
or your ears could swell up, so you look like you've got
Yes.
marshmallows strapped to the side of your head. That could be quite fun.
Yes, I'd like that. Something a
Yeah.
bit more interesting. Like, I feel like we've gone through this whole pelegum
Yeah.
snot phase for too long now, and I want
No one
new
likes
colds.
pelegum.
No.
But everyone could enjoy marshmallow ears on somebody. That'd be great.
Yes,
Just put a
absolutely.
smile in your face.
Yes, yeah. I think I mean, imagining it now, and I think if somebody's ears look like massive marshmallows, I would enjoy it until mine did. Even then, I'd probably enjoy it.
I think
for
I'd
quite
get a
while.
kick out of that. I'd give them a little poke. Like yeah.
Yeah. And also, if it stopped you hearing things, and like, say, for the listeners, if they got told, like, stop playing computer or tidy your room, they're like, can't hear, I've got marshmallow ears.
It's perfect.
So-
No homework could be
Ah.
done. You could go to school because you wouldn't have to listen. You just point at your marshmallow ears. You'd be like, "No, sorry.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
blocked.
this is brilliant.
They're
Well,
blocked."
it's yet another episode of this where I feel like we're solving problems that I wish someone would just get out there and do it, because we've got all the answers here, which is the point of this show, obviously, all the answers. But before we get
Adults
to...
aren't
in fact,
listening to Tiernan. That's the trouble. We're too stupid to listen to,
Yes.
innovative shows like this where we solve the world's problems.
that is the problem. I mean, even I don't listen to this. Why would I? I'm a grown-up. It's not for
You're
me.
there.
I know, it's
You're
weird.
present at
I'm not...
each
I've
one.
got... Yeah, no, it's weird, isn't it? I completely... I think it's my grown-up brain. As soon as we stop recording, it's all just gone.
Do you
And
have
it's
two
like-
brains then, Tiernan? Are you like a cow with loads of stomachs? Do you have like a child's brain for this and an adult's brain? Help me understand. How are you so
Yes,
much fun,
maybe
but
I
also
do.
a proper grown up with your own child? Like what?
But I'm so not. This is the thing, though, is I've definitely got a boring grown-up brain where I'll do things like, oh, I'd better put a wash on, or really boring things that grown-ups do, and then I'll have then child brain. It's like ice cream. So I don't know how maybe they work together. Maybe they are different halves of my brain, or maybe you're right. Maybe I've just got a small child's brain in my adult brain.
It's a little
Which
brain.
is, yeah.
That's quite a cute idea. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe we've
like
all
a-
got
it's a-
one, but some of us just don't access it. Maybe we've all got
Yes.
the capability to remain children.
Yes.
Because I feel
What
like I
happens
am.
is that-
I look for an adult. When I'm out with children and we're crossing the road, they're looking at me like, "Are you going to get me to the other side safely?" Well, they're not. They're not even questioning it. They just assume I will. I can't even get myself to the other side safely. I too am looking for an adult. Like, when does
Yeah,
that stop?
It's hard. I don't know. Roads are very hard. I sometimes think maybe we should just stay where we are.
Am I allowed to use
Never-
scissors
never
on
go
my own
anywhere.
yet? I don't think I'm qualified.
No. I've got to cut. My daughter has to eat because she's 3.5, and you've got to cut grapes in half for kids. And apparently, it's until they're like 7. And I don't think that makes. I'm sure I ate
What?
grapes when I was younger, but now I'm thinking, should I be eating grapes whole? Maybe grapes are super dangerous, and I just didn't know. And we've all been living this lie of just eating grapes, and actually they're the
Reckless.
most dangerous thing on earth. I know.
But
know.
is it why grapes specifically? Why not like segments of orange and stuff?
Because if you swallow a grape whole, it can land in your throat. Whereas if you swallow an orange whole, that's quite impressive. I suppose
Okay.
people are just too like, well done, you've swallowed an orange whole. Like, whereas if you swallow a grape whole, everyone's like, well, you're an
Nah.
idiot, and now you might
Yeah.
choke. But if you swallow an orange whole, it's just like, wow, how did you do that? They're quite big.
Grapes
You
are
know,
fun
like
when
just
you
swallowed a
freeze
watermelon
them.
whole.
They're like really boring ice lollies.
Yes, they are. Like, yeah. How obsessed will you be? I've got you an ice lolly. That's a grape.
Grapes with a stick. Who's a grapes with a stick? I'm sure my mum's tried to mug me off with that in the past.
That is the meanest. That's the meanest lolly I've ever heard of. I can just imagine the ice cream van noise coming, all the kids running, and here you go, here's a grape on a stick. You feel, this one's an olive. Ugh.
Serve it to your
That'd be
younger
horrible.
siblings
As a cruel trick. Wow.
What a prank that would be. Say you've got lollies in the fridge, you open the box, it's just fruit, frozen fruit.
It's so mean.
What a
That
hustle.
is so mean. But a very good idea as well. And if you do have siblings, do that after
Promise
giving
them
them
a
a very
nice
small
lolly.
kick that isn't a kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's many tricks. Now, listen, Vix, we've already covered your rude word, which isn't, which, you know, we mustn't say phlegm or pelegum for the rest of the show, because obviously it's a family-friendly show. The one thing I haven't asked you, though, is that, you know, this is an audio podcast for people's ears. Hopefully not their marshmallow ears. We'll see, you know, if you haven't got marshmallow ears, hopefully you can hear this. But because it's
That's
an
a
audio
tip idea.
podcast,
It might not take off.
yeah, maybe we don't. Yeah, in fact, actually, I've realised that I'm sort of pushing things for this show, pushing ideas that are going to ruin this podcast. If everyone has marshmallow ears, no one will listen to
No one
this.
can hear us.
Maybe colds, stay as you are. It's fine. We love you just the way you are. We don't love you, the colds. Anyway, what I was going to say is, have you got a favourite noise that you can give us?
Yes. I like it when someone does a fart noise, but they haven't farted, and you don't let them give their excuse that they haven't farted. That's my favourite noise on earth. Where someone's on like a leather seat and you hear the squeak.
Oh.
And you sort of know they haven't done it, but you won't let them off anyway. That is my favourite noise, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Is there a word for that? Is that like I was going to say it's phantom fart, but a phantom fart would be a fart that doesn't have a noise and is a fart.
But yeah, it's almost like a faux fart.
Faux fart. I love that.
A
foot.
Just where you know someone's sitting on like a
fart.
vinyl seat, or maybe they've been on a whoopee cushion. You both know it, but you watch them getting more and more frustrated because they want you to believe that they haven't done it. And you can be like, oh, but I can even smell something. You're absolutely, no, you've done it. It's disgusting. And then they go into those who smelled it, dealt it. And then you get a little back and forth. Oh, it's the start of something really beautiful. That is my favorite.
Well, also like a lot of faux arts. A lot of them have got. They always make a really good fart noise. It's always like a proper.
Yeah.
It's always like a real squeaky. Like you've really had to force it out. Squeaky fart noise. So if it had been a fart, it's a disgusting one. Yeah.
If you're in a meeting and then you don't even have to say anything, everyone looks at them and they know what they did and they want to say that they didn't. But they can't because you're in a social situation where it's not appropriate to like, oh, sorry, I know you're going through that slide there on the presentation, but I just need everyone to know I didn't fart. That wasn't what that was. My bare leg is sticking to this plastic chair. That is what you heard. All right. That is what you heard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Again, we talked about child brain, adult brain earlier, but kids absolutely go, I didn't fart, or I farted, and then you get to a grown-up, like, I mustn't even pretend, let them know that was the chair and not me. Like, if only we could be more bold in those big meetings.
At all.
Yeah.
Like, maybe people didn't hear it, but they did.
Everyone hears it. Everyone always hears it. They always know. I think it's the one thing that, like, everyone's ears are trained to absolutely hear was that a fart? Yes, it was. Who did it? It was you. And we also know exactly, big room full of 100 people. You'll know who did it. You'll know where that noise came from.
Oh,
it's like our superpower.
It's amazing. It's amazing. That is my favourite noise. A fart that's not a fart. A faux art.
A faux art. Well, Vix, that is an absolutely brilliant noise. Thank you so much for bringing that to us. Right. Well, look, listen, and now it's the most important bit of the show. And, I've asked you to do this episode specifically because I think you're going to be good at answering this question. And we have had this sent in, and I just have to say, this has been sent in by Casper Grey, which is what an amazing name.
It's a wonderful name.
Isn't it an amazing name? I can't work out if he's sort of like a Victorian sort of detective, or maybe from some sort of, I am Casper Grey, and this is my
I think he's a wizard. I think he's a wizard.
Yes, very possibly.
The marvellous, magnificent Casper Grey. I could be his assistant. Casper, do you want to put me in a box and cut me in half? Let's talk.
Is that how you apply for a job as an assistant? Hi there, I'm just applying for a job as an assistant. Would you like to put me in a box and cut me in a half? Because I'm ready.
I've never done it before. I don't know. Casper, email in.
Yeah, well, fair. Casper, if you need someone who will sit in a box and let you cut them in half,
You don't
obviously
really get
just
cut in
in a
half, though.
magic
Do
way.
you?
Yeah, I was going to say not. I don't know. This is my worry. I've never actually worked it out if they just cut them in half and put them back together again.
Yeah. Is it magic? It's very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of. I try and think what you'd do if, like, they cut you in half and you didn't get put. Because it'd be quite handy if you had moving legs and a moving body at different bits, wouldn't it? Like you could.
Little
Would
feet
it be, you
waggling
could
at
have,
the end.
Yeah, I was trying to think if you could put anything in between, like where you could just sort of like to like carry a box instead of carrying it in your hands. You could just put your legs on one bit and your top on the other bit, and then walk it over.
That's quite an interesting. Yeah, that's like a pantomime horse, but you're
Yeah.
both ends.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, there you go. That's that thought. And anyway, what I was going to. Casper Grey is. He says, "I'm 9
Sorry,
years
Casper.
old." Yeah, 9 years old. And I started. What happened there is I realised I was thinking about this too much, and we need to answer Casper's question. But I was very much going to spend the entire podcast talking about what it would be like to if your legs and your body were in different places and working. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking about
I
it because
can't
it's all my
stop
brain is
thinking
thinking
about it
now.
now. I can't.
My
stop
small
thinking about
child
it.
brain is focused on that. So
Like if you could detach your arms and legs like a doll and just put them in different formations to be more useful.
yeah,
That'd be great,
Don't you think
wouldn't
like
it?
putting on certain jumpers and stuff would be so much easier if you could just sort of
Just
pop
put
your
you-
arm off and then put it in through the
Put
sleeve?
it in the
or-
sleeve, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and climbing through like small spaces. If you're like on a climbing frame or you're like in a cavern or something, you can just be like, that bit's a bit tight. Pop, pop, pop. Push them through. Wriggle your way through.
Yeah.
would all of
Or
it-
put
especially-
one arm on another arm to reach something high.
Oh my
Attach
gosh.
the arm. You could hold the arm and then reach into cupboards that your parents don't want you in because that's where all the sweets and the chocolates are. That'd be
This
good.
is brilliant. Well, Casper, listen, if you can do that, if you've got these magic powers, let us know because I think I've got various things I could do with reaching. I'm not very tall. It'd be really handy. So, yeah, get in touch. Well, anyway, so Casper says, I'm 9 years old. And my question is, this is a really good question, Casper. Why is the name Bob so funny? Everyone in my school thinks it's hilarious and so do I. But why? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Hope you can answer my question. Vix, can you?
Do we think he knows a specific Bob? Is there a
Well,
Bob
Bob's
in
your
this
uncle, isn't it?
school? I know. Apparently so. I don't have an uncle called Bob, and I'm sad about it.
No.
But
Neither do I. Mine's called Ray. It's not as funny a name.
it's
Yeah.
just it is a funny word, though, isn't it? Because
Mm.
to Bob is to sort of be like out in the middle of the sea, literally bobbing up and down. Like there's something out of control about that. Is Bob an out of control kind of person? Is Bob an out of control kind of name? You bob for apples, which involves
You
getting your
do.
face wet. What's the? It's Robert.
I don't know.
It's a
It's
short
always the
name of
hardest way
Robert.
to get
Robert's
apples
not a
when
funny
you could just
name.
eat an apple as well.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
point in it. And other people have bitten the apples, and I don't want something that other people have like licked as a rule.
No, it's the most
Uh,
horrible game, bobbing for apples, where you could just have an apple if you want an apple, whereas they're like, put it in a barrel and get the barrel wet, and then stick your face in the water. Can I just eat an apple?
But
and
when
then some
do
crisps?
you ever want an apple that badly that you're prepared to go through
No.
physical tests to get to it? That's a rubbish prize. The only time I'd want to win apple bobbing is if you can take the apple and trade it for a better thing at the end. Like
Yes,
if the apple's
that's
got
fair.
a prize written on the bum of it that's like you've won
Yes.
a TV or a PlayStation. Like that is a rubbish prize. This is like the biggest
Yeah.
swindle on earth. Parents getting kids excited about apples in a barrel. Like I just no.
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
that's fair. And you can't do it with Apple like products, like with an Apple laptop, because then it would just break if you put it in a barrel of water. So you can't even do it for Apple things that people might want. Because I should say this podcast is not sponsored by Apple, but if they'd like to give me 20 bazillion pounds because I mentioned their name and also apples, if I send me some, my favourite apples, just out of interest, are jazz apples because they
Ooh,
sound, don't they
nice.
sound great? Yeah,
They
because
do,
like I want a
jazz.
jazz apple. I'd like this apple to be jazzy, and they taste nice as well. But also like you're eating jazz. I think that's like the best thing. So sorry,
So
Bob's.
Bob
Bob's,
is one letter away from the word boob, which I think
yes,
doesn't help.
you see. I think that might be it. I think that might be this. And also, I think, right, if you look at the letters,
Do it on a
right, capital
calculator.
B-
You could do it on a calculator. An
Yeah.
8, a 0, and an 8, that makes Bob. An 8008, that makes boob. We all know. We've all done it. All done it.
yes, it's very close to boob, and Bob might be a boob because they're called Bob. But also, I think if you look at the letters, right, so a big capital B on its side looks like a bum or
Yeah.
boobs.
I've just written that
and
down
then-
to acknowledge
yeah.
that.
And then you got the O. O's are sort of funny. And then you got the other
Oh.
little B, which looks like someone very thin standing with a big bum. So
That,
maybe it's like
yeah.
big bum, O, little bum. Maybe
So
that's
Casper's
quite
an
funny.
intellectual because he's thinking of all these things simultaneously at the same time to make himself laugh. I think Casper might be a genius. Because on the surface,
well
Bob,
be.
not a funny name, just a shortening of Robert. But
But you
actually,
see, I'm
you
gonna
break it
come
down.
in.
You break it down.
I want to come in and just add a counterpoint, like you're saying on the surface, it's not a funny name, but think about like naming stuff Bob, because like we're just talking about if you met someone called Bob, they might be quite boring. But say if you met a horse called Bob, amazing.
I
right?
love pets with human names. They're my favorite.
Yeah,
Like this
it's
cat
brilliant.
is
And
called
Bob is a
Steve. No, it's
particularly
not. My cat's called Stephen. What are you talking about?
That you do get cats called Steve. I've met a cat
Yeah.
called George. Brilliant cat called George. It's the best name, and I think Bob is a particularly good name for
A
other
horse.
things, like maybe other than a horse called Bob. Yeah.
Yeah. Will you wear a bobble
Yeah.
hat?
Oh, maybe.
Because bobble's quite a
Maybe.
funny concept as well. Because you've got quite a sensible hat that keeps you warm, and they've shoved a big old ball of yarn on the top of it to make you look taller and a bit silly. And I think, yeah, that's funny. I love a bobble hat, but some people just look like boiled eggs with egg cozies on.
What an image.
In my mind, Bob's a bald man wearing a bobble hat that looks like an egg cozy. That's the Bob that I think Casper is thinking about when he's laughing.
I mean, maybe that's the Bob that everyone thinks about. That is very funny, especially if you draw a face on an egg. Like it always looks funny when you draw a face on an egg. So maybe that is, you've got a little egg face. Yeah, that's very funny.
Bob the little egg face.
I think, could it also, like, is there also, because you're right, the word bobble is a brilliantly funny word and quite fun. Like, I don't know why Bob is short for Robert. Because, like, Robert's, like, shouldn't Rob be short for Robert? So, like, maybe if someone's called Bob, you automatically think their name is Bobble and it's short for Bobble.
Bob, short for Bobble. Maybe they all are. Maybe we've all been thinking it's Robert, but it's been Bobble the whole time. Bobble Davis, Bobble Jones.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Bobble De Niro. You see, that's quite funny.
Bobble Redford. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some really good ones.
Bobble Patterson.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, of course. Bobble Patterson. Yeah.
That'd be
These
great.
are some really, yeah.
They're all secret bobbles, and we never knew. We never knew.
Would you like to be a Bob or a Bobble?
I don't know. If I could get, because like my job is being a comedian, so if I could get a laugh every time out of a 9-year-old like Casper, he could call me what he likes. He can call me Bobble if he wants. I'll answer to that.
Yes.
Just come out. You're doing your kids' gigs, Tiernan. You just introduce yourself, and now here it is. Bobble Dooyab, Bobble McBobbleson. It's great.
Bobble Do Bob. I think I'd have to change it twice. I'd have to be Bobble Do Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
What a great stage name. I want.
That's a really
let's
good
do this
name.
gig. Yeah.
Yeah, we should do a gig where everyone change their name to Bob. We'll have maybe if we can make everyone in the audience be a Bob.
Do we
I
know
think
any
it'd be the
comedians
funniest gig
called
we've ever
Bob?
seen. Oh no.
So I'm trying to think of ones that kids would have heard of, because like Bob Monkhouse is quite he's quite old now and I think dead.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Bob
yeah, he is. Yes,
Mortimer?
we
Bob
should make it hard.
Mortimer?
Yeah, Bob Mortimer, of course, Bob Mortimer. I don't know anyone else that says Bob. There's a couple of Roberts, aren't there? But I don't know. And there's John Robertson, so he could become John Bobbertson.
Yep, Bobbertson.
Yeah, Rob Kemp
Bob
could become
Bobbertson.
Bob Kemp. Yeah, Bob
Yeah,
Bobbertson.
Bobatron.
Yeah, Bobatron. There we go.
Bobatron.
There's a few, yeah. But you think, considering how funny a name it is, there's not that many
Yeah.
Bobs. Maybe they don't
Bobbies.
need to be a comedian because they're already so funny. Maybe like they give enough laughter by being a Bob that they don't then need to go out and do jokes as well.
Yeah, they never have to go into comedy, because as far as they're concerned, every room is their comedy show, because they walk in, they get introduced as Bob or Bobble, and people are rolling the aisles. I wish I had that.
Yeah, me too.
We should all be more Bob.
We should all be more
Big
Bob.
Bob
But then
energy.
I suppose there is that thing. There would be times where it'd be awkward. Like, say, if you're getting married, and it'd be like, "Do you take this, Bob?" And everyone's ah, or you're holding a big meeting, and it's some big speech. It's like, "Hello, I'm Bob," and or a teacher. It's got to be hard for teachers. So
Mr. Bob.
yeah,
Mr. and Mrs. Bob.
Mr. and Mrs. Bob, Mr. and Mrs. Bob, Bobbertson, yeah. So I think there's a lot of pluses to Bob's. I think it's just maybe there's just so many reasons why it's funny. Do you think that's the case?
I suppose, like, imagine it would be a lot less awful. Like if your name was Rob, like rob the bank, bobbing the bank, funny, robbing the bank, a crime.
Yes, that's it. It just makes it a bit nicer, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just a bit warmer, a bit nicer. I'm going to bob this bank. You'd be like, oh, what's that? Like, that sounds nice. Like,
yeah, you're going to put a bank in
bank
a
bobber.
barrel and then try and catch it with your mouth. That's very strange. Yeah,
bank bobbers.
Yes.
The Great Train Bobbery.
Oh, that's lovely. Daylight bobbery. Yeah, I like it. That's much nicer, isn't it? That's really...
Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder.
Oh,
That's a
gosh,
Bob. That's a famous Bob.
Oh my gosh, of course. How did we not think of Bob the Builder? Yeah, Bob the Builder. Yeah, and he's not that... Like, he fixes things. He's not the funniest guy, is he?
No.
I don't think.
No, but he's somehow overcome the natural hilarity of Bobness through a skill.
Yes, maybe he's so skilled at building.
He's got a
that it's no longer
fantastic
funny.
trade, and now that's all people. Yeah, he's got their respect. He's not just a laughing stock. There we go. That's if you are a Bob and you're sick of people laughing at you, learn a really good trade. Be good at your job.
Yes,
earn people's respect. That's a beautiful message.
That's a lovely message to send out there. So I hope many Bobs are listening. And I hope that you, of course, if you're a horse called Bob, there's no hope for you. It's still just funny. And if you are an egg with a hat called Bob, also, again, no hope. It's just I think these are just the rules. I don't make them. No. I mean, I think we did make them.
We absolutely do.
But also I don't make them. So I think hopefully that's answered Casper's question.
I hope so. I think we've been really thorough.
I think we've been pretty thorough, and hopefully now he won't have to wonder about it while he's trying to cut people in half as part of his magic act.
Yeah, in his haunted mansion that he owns.
Well, exactly, which he clearly does. Well, thank you for that, Vix. That was amazing. I knew you were the person to ask to do this episode because I knew that you would understand about the name Bob and its funny origins.
Would have been furious if you'd asked someone else. It's the real era of specialism for me.
I know. I mean, you've been studying it for years, and so you've got your PhD in Bob, and your Bob HD. I don't know what do you just get the BOB after your name? Is that how it works? Or?
Yeah. People never know how to pronounce it, and they do say BOB because they assume, but it is Bob.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
Dr. Vix Leyton, Bob.
Yeah, that's it. Which is, I mean,
otherwise known as Lady Pelegum. But
yes,
only only in certain Eastern European countries will recognise my my sovereign status.
so many accolades. You've just done too much, Vix. I hope you've got a restful day ahead. You're not doing anything. I mean, you seem to be doing so much. I hope you've got a calmer afternoon.
Well, I'm going to look into that nose thing. I think you've really re-inspired me. The redesign of the nose. I'll do some light.
That's good.
Small kicking probably just because it's it's more of a hobby now than a job, and think about
Sounds
Bob
good. I was
try and retrain as a magician's assistant. Obviously I'm gonna look into that,
of course. Yeah, I was very worried when you said I'm gonna look into that nose thing. I was worried you were gonna look into someone's nose, but you don't. She, for the listeners, Vix just tried to make me look into her nose over Zoom, and it is not. I mean, she's got a very lovely nose, but no one wants that.
Full of Pelegum, as we've discussed.
Well, thank you for joining us, Lady Pelegum, and see you soon.
See you soon. This has been really fun.
Big thanks to Vix, aka Bob, for that insight into just why Bobs are so very funny, and I hope Casper Grey, aka Magical Bob, that you are very happy with that answer. In fact, I hope you all are happy with that answer, and we all decide together to change our names to Bob until the world is just too funny and we all laugh forever and ever. Linda, change your name to Bob, okay? Linda Bob? Linda? Bob? So weird. Don't forget, if you have a question you need answering about absolutely anything at all, and especially if you have a Halloween-themed one, then get those whiffy butts on legs, grown-ups, to help you email us at podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk. Feel free to keep sending in annoying noises if you have them too. Come and see our shows live if we have one near you, and you can check if we do at comedyclubforkids.co.uk. And I know for a fact that Linda updated our website recently. Didn't you, Linda? Linda? So weird. If your whiffy butts on legs fancy buying me more potato juice too, they can do that at ko-fi.com/comedy club for kids. And do follow us on PopJam too, where we occasionally remember it exists and then post something rubbish. But that is, of course, Linda's job. Maybe that's why we haven't posted anything for ages. Right, I'm off to chase some coffees in order to get my shoes back. Linda, I'm just off to get my shoes back, Linda. Don't forget to lock up, put the open pack of farting gorillas in the fridge and water the sofa. I'll be back in an hour. Linda!
Okay, Tiernan. Bye-bye.
Linda? Bye! You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids Presents. Radio nonsense! Radio nonsense! Radio nonsense! Radio nonsense! Radio nonsense! It's the end.